My guest today is my friend and very funny comedian and actor and podcaster, Noe Towers.
Hi.
So right before I started recording,
I'm floored.
I couldn't figure out how to put on a sports bra.
Please, why can I? The specific brand or a specific brand, or were there loopy loops, or was it like a fancy? What are we working with?
Loops. It's like I've worn it before. I put it on, and then there's these like crossy things.
Yeah.
And then I put my arm through one, but it took like 6 minutes, and I took it off and I threw it to the ground. I went, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" And then I put it on, and I took a deep breath, and I realized I had it turned in a weird way, and then I put one arm through, and then the other arm through, but.
Okay, I will get on your page and I'll relate to you for a second.
Please.
I have these running shorts that have like a netting in them.
Yes.
And the netting will cross with the shorts itself, and I'm like, and it's like are they inside out? Are they layered? Is the netting on top of the shorts now? And I like will go 8 different ways before I figure it out. But,
has that happened more than one time?
Each of varying lengths of frustration.
Yeah, it's tough. Have you been like running and exercising and stuff?
Okay, so are we talking quarantine for a second, or is that
Let's talk quarantine, please. Absolutely.
Okay, because I don't know how much people want to hear and don't want to hear.
I know. I've been thinking about that too, because when I start putting these out, but I'm doing it. I used to have this road diary that was like a really private diary, and then private in quotes. I mean, it was like an audio diary I was like putting out, but I didn't ever promote it I never wanted anyone to listen to it. I don't fucking know. But then I wanted to start doing a bunker during quarantine. I've been thinking that about quarantine, but I'm interested in hearing about how people are adapting to it. So yeah, for quarantine, have you been exercising?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I bottomed out on the unhealthy living, like the eating shit, the not moving, the whatever. And I was like, I have absolutely bottomed out on it. So now I am like running every day, like doing kind of like a workout in my house and then going for a jog at night when it cools because it's getting hot. Are you in LA right now?
I'm in Louisiana.
Oh, chic. So LA, yeah.
Yeah, I am in LA. Yeah, I am in LA. I should just say that. I'd be like, yes. I was in Los Angeles, and then my girlfriend has a house here that she rents out on Airbnb, and we have been quarantining here.
Amazing.
How long did it take you to get into the being unhealthy?
I was unhealthy like the first probably 2 to 3 weeks, I think. Or just I was like I don't know, a sloth. I was a little piggy. I was like, I'm on vacation. I can't work anymore. I'm going to eat pancakes at 2 a.m. because I can. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, wow, actually this is not a good lifestyle choice. Yeah. So then I'm eating soup, and I'm grilling vegetables, and I'm roasting things. Yeah. Roasted broccoli. Yeah. Roasting vegetables.
Never roasted a goddamn thing in my life.
Okay.
Wouldn't even know where to begin. I'd put a spit in it, or I'd put like a pokey thing in it and try to roast it over the stove open flame. I have no...
Same, and you will be floored by how easy so many of these things are. Like I made a meat sauce last night. It was like butter in a pan, chopped up vegetables like onions, peppers. You're so skeptical.
Yep. No,
onions,
I believe
mushrooms, peppers. Yeah, just grill those till they look like all wilted and like they've given into the butter.
Right.
And then you add the ground beef, like just raw ground beef, and you just cook it until it's brown. And then I poured red sauce into it, and I had this chunky meat sauce.
It feels so good sometimes to just do stuff that you've heard other people do, and you're like, oh, it wasn't, because I've never roasted, maybe by default, but I've never,
forgot to take them out of the oven and then roasted the fuck out of them.
I never even put anything in the oven.
In the oven, okay.
I don't know what's going on in there.
I'm going to tell you a little hack with roasting vegetables.
Please.
You need a cookie, a sheet of a metal, and then foil, or not foil.
I always have girlfriends that are roasting stuff.
Okay, great. Okay, so all you need to do is check in. Are you drinking a White Claw? No. No.
No, it's a Celsius. Oh my God, that'd be so wrong. It's a green tea non-carbonated drink.
Oh, it's for workouts and stuff.
It is. I haven't got to that part of the process of the drink, but it is actually, yes, it is for workouts. They have little pictures of people working out on it.
You should drink one of those and then try to put on a sports bra.
Yeah, right. And then just my anger would just be aggravated.
Have you been doing caffeine at home?
Yeah.
Still, okay.
Yeah. So I actually really, I mirror you pretty much 100% on that 2 to 3 weeks thing. Cause it was like the first 5 days I was like, I'm going to be so healthy. And then my girlfriend ordered a bunch of cookies delivery. And I was like, no, I can't have that. It's not, I was like, I'm not like in an emotionally stable enough place right now because I haven't been going to doing my self-help stuff. So I was like, if I eat a cookie, it's going to be a fucking shit show. Yeah. And she didn't get it. Now she gets it because of what happened. She was like, just have a cookie. It'll be fine. I was like, no, you don't get it. I was like, I will go off the rails. And she was like, what? And then we got in a little thing about it because she was like, you're making me feel weird. And I was like, a cookie like that, where it's like a gooey cookie. And then we have so many of them. I was like, it's something will happen in my brain. Later that night, I had a cookie and then I was like, fine, fuck it. And then I ate all these cookies and she was like, what is happening? And then I was eating a cupcake and she was trying to take it away from me because she was like, you're not gonna be able to sleep. And I was like, back off me. And then it was like 2 days of me like taking all the donuts in the house that she had.
Yeah.
So now, like last night, she went to go get some ice cream, and I was like, "I'm not gonna have any because I'm, like, I just don't. It's not a good time." And she was like, "Yeah, don't." And then I was like, "It wasn't good."
I don't want to speak for you, but for me as an addict or a recovering person, there is no moderation. There's no moderation. And this is my problem. Like I'm either on the healthy train or I'm on the destruction train. Like. I'm not going for a run and then eating Domino's. I'm going for a run and then I'm eating, a salad. I'm not going for a run and I'm ordering Domino's.
I couldn't relate more because that's why I'm like, if this happens, then that's not fucking happening because it's my head space.
Yep.
With it.
Yeah.
But if I am like really healthy in other areas, then there are times where I can be like, then I can actually do it. Then sugar's not triggering at all.
Or like have you've been really good. So you have or it's like a limited dessert. Like you order the dessert at the restaurant and 4 people eat it. Even if you go in harder, which I know I always do, I'm limited to like a third of the dessert, Yeah.
And it's not then in the house. It is hard for people to understand. I wonder if I found with women, it can be really hard for them to understand because women and sugar already, there's so many weird messages and hangups where it'll be like, you shouldn't have then I'll feel bad because I'll be like, I don't want it to seem like I'm doing that in a way where it's like me related to a diet necessarily.
Like body shaming yourself and stuff.
Because it's not that, it's the addict head space.
It's with my drinking too. I never wanted one drink. If it was an option of one drink, I said no, because that's not what we're doing.
Right.
Like I'm trying to get fucked up. And now it's cookies. Like I'm trying to get sick on cookies. Let's get sick on cookies.
Yes. Yeah. I'm like, get me out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Smash the eject button. Let me get me off. I can't be by myself.
Yeah, it's so. I have a friend who does her main drug of choice is sugar, and she was like, she was talking about when she would like if she was on a date or her boyfriend would be like, let's go for dessert. She's like, no, it has to be on my terms. Like we can't. And I can see how that sounds so crazy to people too.
Yeah,
but I'm like, that's not like a fun activity. I mean, it is and it isn't.
Sure. I know people with food issues from working a program. I know the other program, people like overeaters and stuff. And the food things are crazy because unlike drugs and alcohol, like they have to eat every day.
I know.
And so it's like stuff that fit. The rules are like things that fit on a plate. Right. One plate of food 3 times. Like, and then like if the meal's not right or if the waiter fucks something up, it fucks up their whole, it's like her dessert on her terms. Like if the dinner is not what they anticipated it being, it makes them cuckoo. It's crazy.
Which I can get because it could be like, because the one thing could be like triggering and then you're like, was that fucking pesto in there?
Yeah.
Which I get. And I have been with caffeine at home. I haven't been monitoring it too much, but I've been having a good amount. Have you been doing caffeine at home?
So I know I shouldn't do coffee. Like my druggy brain wants it too bad. Like
right.
Because it makes me really jacked up. But I got a French press. And the saving grace with the French press has been, though, I make enough for like 1.5 to 2 cups of coffee.
Yeah.
And I don't want to deal with the French press again that day.
A built-in buffer.
Yes. Because I don't want to clean it. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to.
It is a pain.
So I clean it once, and I don't want to dirty it until the next day. Now ask me again week 7 and see if I am like anally adding coffee to my diet. But for now,
I'll be like
the same.
Cut to week 7 and be like, how's it going with the caffeine? What? I can't even hear you because my brain's going too fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you not drink coffee before the corona?
No, I did, but I had it's so funny. I went to my morning meeting and I had 1 cup of awful AA coffee every morning. And then I didn't have the means to make it at home. So I just didn't have it. I drink tea a lot, but like tea is chill. But now that I have, like, I bought the beans, I ground them, I got the creamer I like.
Oh, you're doing the whole process.
French press.
Yeah.
So it's like ritual too is a big part of, I think, addict behavior.
Yes. Yeah, I've been bad. I have a hard time making those rituals, but then when I do, it's very comforting.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever had and I'm not asking this because I would ask anybody this if it was popped in my head, but have you ever had a coffee where they do the enema? Have you ever heard of those?
No, I probably triggered it when I said anally drinking.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Because it just popped in my brain. I was like, I'm not asking this because you're a gay man.
Yeah.
Okay, that was what it was. Thank you. Yeah, because I have had one of those.
Wait, have you really?
Who? Yeah.
I only know it via Janet Jackson used to do iced coffee enemas.
What? How did you know that? That's a fun fact.
Thank you. I know.
That's like the most fun fact anyone has ever said, actually. How did you know that?
Because it was literally like it burned into my brain when I was like in middle school. It came out in some sort of, maybe it was a tabloid or maybe it was in an interview or something. And it was one of those things where parents were talking about it. I was like, what's an enema?
Right.
And sometimes it'd be like, it's where you put something in your butt. And I was like, this cannot be a thing. Cut 2, I'm putting everything in my butt that I can. But yeah, in there. Wait, tell me about this experience and why and what?
So what it is I was in this relationship where I remember at night I was like really like gassy and I was feeling embarrassed because I would be asleep and then I was like having like stomach problems and I was like really, really mortified.
Sure.
So I started Googling around and I found, what is it? It's not a colonoscopy. It's where they do what's it called? Where they put the thing in your butt? The colonic.
Where they clean you out.
Yeah. So I was like, maybe that's what I need. Now these things weren't connected. It was like a diet thing, but I did 2 colonics and it was like interesting. But then at one part of it, they had a coffee enema and it was like an add-on and I'm already in the thing where and they were like, do you want to add these things on? I was like, if we're doing it, let's fucking do it. Yeah. So we did it and I don't know. And you see a bag of coffee and then it's gone because it's gone up in you. So I don't know if that really did anything, but the idea was it cleans stuff out more, I guess.
Sure.
I'd do it again in a heartbeat though.
Wait, did you love the colonic experience?
I liked it. I did feel like refreshed afterwards, but then I was like reading stuff about it and I was like, it doesn't do anything. It cleans out the good bacteria.
Yeah, it takes the good bacteria away apparently.
But it is fun because you can actually see like stuff leaving. I know that's really gross.
No. I've heard people can lose like 10 pounds after a colonic.
Yes.
Because it's like impacted in the walls of your innards.
Which I do want to, I did feel like light afterwards. I did feel
wow.
I recommend.
Crazy. And I love the add-ons. Like you're getting a smoothie and like you want an immuno boost and you're like, yeah, for sure.
And the person's in there with you. Like when you go in, someone is there like monitoring it, but they kind of massage your stomach.
Sure.
Which
to like loosen things up and
loosen things up. The second time I went, the woman started asking me about comedy. I was like, get me out. It was like 20 minutes in and then she's asking me about joke writing and stuff. And I was like, I'm in hell. So I never got another one.
It's like an Uber driver asking you, but they have a hose up your asshole.
Exactly. So you can't, you're like, two stars.
Can't get anywhere.
2 stars. Get me out of here.
Oh, wait. So what happened with your stomach issues and like gas at night and stuff.
It was awful.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you had that experience?
So I had this crazy thing. I had a parasite, and it wasn't. They tried to kill it with an antibiotic, and it did not die.
Wait, how did you know you had it?
Literally, I was just like at night or in the morning, like my stomach felt weird. For a few months, it just felt weird.
Something was off.
Yes. Like wave of nausea, totally fine for like 10 hours. The stomach would feel like I ate something when I hadn't eaten something.
Right.
It was just weird. It was off. So I went and they did stool samples. Sorry, this is like a poop episode now.
It is what it is.
They're like, you have
stool
a parasite.
Samples. That's where Zach draws the line. Can I say stool sample in here? They did stool samples. I don't know if, I have had a stool sample before. They did some stool samples.
I don't want to offend anybody. But they're like, you have a parasite. Here's antibiotics. I took it, tested again. Parasite was still there.
Oh my God.
Gave me stronger ones. I was taking, it was like 3 pills twice a day for 3 days. It was insane. And I can't swallow pills, so I had to chew these horrible pills.
Why wasn't it dying? It was just really strong?
It was, I don't know. Yeah. And so it killed it, but now it's like, they think the antibiotics have triggered some sort of stomach thing.
Yes.
Now I'm having like stomach discomfort. And so now but my stomach specialist keeps canceling because of, say it with me, the quarantine.
But this is what I say made my stomach problems fixed seems literally impossible. It was when I went on Accutane, the skin medicine, stomach problems went away. It was so fucking weird. Isn't that weird? Because people say it triggers stomach problems. And before I went on, I was like, I don't want to get worse stomach problems. Within like 3 days of being on it, I was like, I feel great. Good. And then I'd not had it since then. Isn't that weird?
Are you kidding?
Yeah. Maybe it's not connected, but the timing was uncanny.
How was Accutane for you? It can do all sorts of things to people. My friend's hands peeled off.
Really?
Yeah.
It was, for me, it was good. It was really, really good. I was on a really low dose, but I went off of it before I should have. I was like, I'm good. And I didn't go back to New York to get the prescription filled. So I went off it early. And then I think I've had a little bit more breakouts because I didn't do the full term.
Didn't finish it. Yeah.
But it's homophobic.
Is it?
Yeah. Because they make you answer whether or not you're sexually active. So I said, I'm sexually active. I'm not at a risk for getting pregnant. That's not an option. So you have to say you're abstinent. And you have to, every month you have to say that you're abstaining from sex, or you have to go on birth control. And there's no other options. And I was like, well, I'm gay. And they were like, well, a lot of people will say that, but then they will have sex with a man. And I was like, I won't have sex with a man unless I'm raped. So are we protecting the rapist? And they're like, oh boy, like you're way over our heads with that one. Like I was like,
you have to be such a large, you have to represent a large piece of the Accutane pie though.
Yeah, I can't be alone. Right. Yeah. I can't be alone with that. Cause I was like, or for gay men, I wonder if for men, they have to take that. I guess men don't have.
I take a birth control.
They're like, we don't even know what to fucking
We don't know what to do with you. You should just peel the first layer of your face off and start fresh.
Yeah, and you're good. Have you been on the dating apps during the Rona?
Oh, every neighbor within a mile of me has one of my whole pics at this point. I've been
your
sharing.
Posts on Instagram are so funny with what you say to I would chicken out from sending you got to go to Zach's Instagram and see his correspondence on Grindr. I would chicken out from sending those.
Oh, but no, you wouldn't. No,
I don't know.
People think some people send me screen grabs of their conversations and they get really mean. Right. I really only say things if some guy comes at me with a crazy statement to begin with, and then
and they're snappy. They're not mean.
Crazy. Yeah. I'm just like, no, you're insane. Like, no, like, I don't know. I try not to be mean spirited, but like, some guys are still trying to fuck during the quarantine.
So they're not socially distancing.
I mean, whores will be whores, I guess.
Amen.
No, I mean, it's been interesting. Like, I have a neighbor who wants, is this an R-rated podcast?
Absolutely.
I have a neighbor who wants me to like come up, walk in, and like jerk off on his floor while he like is more than 6 feet away.
Wow. I think that's really I mean, I don't know. Is it, like, But how did he propose that to you, though?
Really responsible.
Because the only thing is if he proposes it and then you don't want to do it, then you gotta fucking bump into him.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think we're both of a certain age where it's like, I'm not sweating it, he's not sweating it. Do you know what I mean? It's like we're gay dudes, we're horny, let's talk about it.
Sure.
I think it was kind of like a brainstorming sesh that kind of was like, went towards like a plan of action, you know?
Like, how can we do this?
Yeah.
Would he jerk
the
off
greatest
too?
minds. I think from his bed, yeah.
Oh. I think that sounds pretty good. I would want some dirty talk or something in there.
For sure. I mean, it's so interesting because like I'm a sexual being and I've been stripped of all that. My horniness, by the way, has come in waves. First week I was going through like withdrawals because I couldn't like do anything sexual. And I was so horny I wanted to die. Then like weeks 2, 3, 4, I was like, oh, I'm not a sexual being anymore.
Right,
like,
I'm asexual now.
I'm a toad that reproduces with itself.
You're getting extreme with it. Like, I'm a virgin.
Wait truly.
I'm waiting for marriage to have sex.
Or for the quarantine to be over, whichever happens first. And then, this past week I've been horny again.
I have, since I'm with my girlfriend, when she's around, I don't look at porn, but because I'm used to like having a lot more alone time, and I usually look at porn like once or twice a week. Now I haven't been looking at porn, and since we've been bickering, I've been very like asexual.
Okay, so I think I'm quarantining alone, and I think it's pretty
sounds
great.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds nice, man.
See, I think comics might be better suited for solo quarantine.
Yeah,
how is it being with a person?
It's fine, but it's tough because I'm used to being alone a good amount, and I definitely recharge from being alone. And also, like, I'm not easy with. I mean, some of the stuff that when she says it, I'm like, you're so right that I have no. There's no, what did she say? She was like, it'll be something like, you can't put in a sandwich like upside down with the peanut butter side facing up, like on the table, like something like that. And what do you say back to that? You're like, no, you're right. I'm just used to being alone. So I'll do that. And then I'll clean it up. No one knows how the sausage is made for me. Like, she'll be like, how did you get peanut butter like on the ceiling? And can you clean it up? And I'm like, yes. No one should be privy to this. Like, this shouldn't be.
This is behind the scenes.
This is all. And so it's stuff like that. But then I get like stuff like, you know, hey, you said you're going to move that box. And you didn't move it. And I'm like, I said that 20 minutes ago. I need to sit and think first. And then the little thing about that, I'm like, but also the other lining thing is, I don't give a fuck about that goddamn box.
Yeah.
But it's part of being in a relationship where you do things. And then I'm like, but I don't. I guess I don't care.
Yeah.
It can be a little frustrating for somebody. That's been tough. I don't know. I'm not easy necessarily.
I mean, there's a timing, like if you're in a relationship in quarantine, like a week is a month. A month is 6 months. Yes. 6 months, you know what I mean? Like you guys are doing a lot faster. Do you know what I mean?
I totally, and we're already like, since we're lesbians, it's already like
intimate enough.
Have been researching about first dates. So you're the first gay person that I've talked to about since I've been doing my first date research.
Oh, what an honor.
And I was really surprised actually what popped up for gay men, because the first thing that popped up was what not to do, but that's not for lesbians or for straight people. So for
who's saying this, Google or
well,
it's a Christian website, and for the gay guys, it's like, don't do it.
How do you do that? How do you do that?
Yeah, right. What's doing the first date for gay men?
Don't.
It was the first thing that popped up on Google. So it was Elite Daily, but they said, oh, well, it's first date conversation topics all gay guys should avoid. Which actually I think is really helpful that they should have for more of because some of the things for the straight people, like one of them, this must have been a Christian one. It was like, what would you want God to say when you arrive in heaven?
Police!
Fancy seeing you here.
Yeah, like this one. But what I wanted to ask first, do you remember your first date?
Oh my God. That's a great question.
Oh, thank you.
You know what?
It's murky. It's a murky memory too, because I feel like dating to me seems like a very old fashioned thing where it's like, will you go on a date with me? So it's like a little, in high school, it's usually like going to a movie or something, but do you have any memory of what the first one was? Yeah,
of course. So, of course it was with a girl.
Oh boy.
A girl I did musical theater with. named Megan Sawicki, and
Who asked who?
I asked her.
Good job.
And my mom it was of being driven places.
Right.
So my mom and I picked her up.
Aww.
And then my mom dropped us off at the mall. And I think we like walked around the mall, and I think we got pizza at Sparrow's.
Nice.
And then we went to a movie, and then we got picked back up.
Oh, that's very...
It was like I wasn't horny towards anyone at that point. Do you know what I mean? It was just like going through the motions of pairing off.
Right. This is what I should do. Were you like nervous or excited about it?
Yeah, because I knew I was gay. I mean, I knew I was gay. I've known I was gay since I was like 5 years old.
Really?
It was
and you admitted it
like,
to yourself?
Yes. I vehemently denied it to everyone else. But like I did, like even in high school, I helped start the Gay Straight Alliance as a straight person.
Sure.
So like my friends, teachers, everyone was like, cool. We're cool with it.
Right.
Like if you know, we're cool with it. If you're cool with it. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm cool with it. But
yeah, I'm totally cool. I'm not gay, but I'm cool with it.
I'm not gay, but I'm cool. I love gay people a lot. But yeah, so yeah, I was definitely nervous. And it was just like, but she was a friend. So I think it was just like, what is this? Like, I don't think a kiss was expected at this age. So it was just very like, it was cute.
No kiss?
No.
I had a date with a guy, I remember, and we both turned out to be gay, and it was my favorite date because there was the level of no kiss pressure could not be expressed. It wasn't my first date, but I remember it was like, we went to a basketball game. Then he was like, do you want to ride home? And then we sat in the car, and that I knew that I was like, I'm gay. And I didn't necessarily know he was. I knew I liked him as a person. And we listened to the music. We talked about it for a little bit, and then that was it. But I was like so relieved. And I didn't necessarily know if he was gay, but I just like was so appreciative. We literally, the second we were out from other people, we were both in our seat. Like, it was so nice. Just none of that. Do you remember your first date with a gay guy?
This is where it's murky. Okay. Because when I was like in AOL chat rooms talking to gay men all over the place as like a high schooler.
So you were in the closet. Life?
Still in the closet. Okay. Yeah. In my high school, but like was talking to gay men privately. Right. And then I administered my first 2 blowjobs to straight guy friends. Senior year. Sorry. I just like,
how'd you administer it?
With my mouth.
That's how gay I am. Wait, how'd you do that?
How did you do? I don't understand. Where'd the penis go?
I gave blowjobs in high school. How did you set the scene?
So
or not set the scene, but how'd you like?
I knocked him unconscious. I roofied. No, I'm kidding. So halfway through senior year, I came out to my friends as bi.
Wow.
And then my house was like the house that people would play beer pong at. And then like I had a pull-out couch in my bedroom and a big bed. So like, people would crash. Yeah. So guy friends would crash, and like we'd have like we'd talk in the dark. Did you have any of those sleepovers where the lights were off, people were going to bed, but it was like honest time? And like we called it getting deep. And like we would get deep, you know? And one of them was like, dude, like, you know, I'd let you blow me if I didn't have a girlfriend. And like another one was like, yeah, same. And then like 2 of them didn't have girlfriends. So one night it was the 3 of us. Well, one night I blew one of them. And then one night it was the 3 of us. And oh my God, this is so horrid.
Good for you.
And this is, yeah. But anyway, I gave oral sex. All to say I did that before I went on my first date.
I think that's pretty common, though.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, because I felt like really weird walking myself out onto that ledge just now.
No, I think that's really common because I remember in high school, I had this pack of girlfriends, and I was like, we have to wait till we're married to have sex because I didn't want to have sex, and I didn't admit I was gay. So we were like giving blowjobs. I was like behind on that too, but I had a couple friends. I don't think our first dates were until it was like everyone did prom, and then it was like we went on a date for prom. But I had a friend who had a little kind of equivalent of what you're saying, where it was like where you play beer pong and stuff, a cabin, and guys were getting blowjobs.
Yeah,
like, there'd be like different. I remember there was a girl they called the blowjob queen.
Oh, poor girl.
I know. High school.
I bet she gave 2.5 blowjobs.
I know,
and she
I
got
bet.
that name, and I bet it had an impact on the rest of her life.
I wonder about that. I wonder about that.
That was a girl in 8th grade. She let a guy like suck her nipples in a closet, like in a what's it called closet, and he had an opinion on it, and she got a nickname, for the rest of her
fucking skewered. Yeah, they're like, she's got waffle nipples, and you're like,
yeah. Oh. And then
high school kids are brutal with that,
dude. Yeah,
brutal.
So okay, yeah. So cabin. Oh yeah, first date. Oh, but first date. Yeah. So I got to college, and then it was like college. I was fully gay, but like college kids, I don't think we were going on dates.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think.
We'd walk around campus. We'd meet at parties.
Right.
We'd go home together. We'd study together. But like dates.
I think that a study date count. I remember one of my first relationships started from us being like, let's study together, and then I was like, and I got to break up with my girlfriend. But I remember that was like a dating. We were doing something wrong because we kept meeting up and I wouldn't tell anybody where I was.
Yeah. Isn't that so funny? You don't realize the things you don't want to talk about are things you should not be doing.
Oh, amen to that. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
If you wouldn't openly say it to someone, you're like, oh,
yeah. Why
are you doing it?
Because it's not because everyone else is like so fucking judgmental. It's that I am doing something also wrong.
Yeah.
You want to hear the questions that they say what not to ask on a first date for gay guys?
Love to.
Okay, this is what it is. Number 1 is what position you are.
Oh, they say don't talk about that? That's insane. That's insane.
They say that's what you're said. But I feel like that is something that should probably get established. Is that usually established before you go on a date? I would want to know.
Do you know how angry I would be if I had a great date and at the end he was like, well, I'm a bottom. And I'd be like, well, this was useless then. What we just did was art. We just did a scene of a beautiful relationship. And of course we got along because we're both bottoms.
Right. And now we're just going to be lying on the bed next to each other, looking at each other like.
Okay, this again. Yeah. No, I would hope I would know that going in.
Can't you usually tell?
Yeah. I mean.
At least 50. I had a guy, though, I thought was a bottom. This friend of mine all through college thought was a bottom. I mean, would have bet money on it. And then he told me one time he had a hemorrhoid thing. And I was like, oh, and he was like, yeah, it doesn't affect me though. And I was like, And then he's like, he said something about that he was a top. And I was like, he was like, I only let one guy fuck me once and I didn't like it. And I would never have thought he was a top. So maybe you can't tell.
It's crazy. I mean, okay, so yes, there's like some qualities that stick out as like top behavior versus bottom behavior, but people are viciously trying to break those down now. So it's like, it's really any man's guess for who's a top or who's a bottom.
Are they trying to break it down because why do you think they're trying to break it down? Because it's just like bad.
I mean, just like stereotypes. There's bottoms are kind of like disrespected a little bit. Tops are praised, and tops often have masculine qualities. And that's like, okay, we internalize homophobia. We're still praising straight men. We're praising the guys who would bully us in high school. And we think that's hot, So it's like, no, femme tops are tops. Like, masculine bottom. You can be masculine and still want to get fucked, like, it's just like, it's not doing anyone any favors to be like, tops wear backwards hats and basketball shorts and don't text you back. Like, that's not, I mean, it's true, but like, it's not doing anyone any favors.
I had a feminine friend that always liked wearing, she was like really feminine. She'd always be wearing strap-ons. And I was like, good for you. And she was like, yeah, not always, but like she would.
Just to Cheesecake Factory.
just to the Cheesecake. Oh my God. Queen then. But she said, I remember she was like, yeah, I was going over to this girl. This girl was coming over and she opened the door and then I had a strap on when she got to the door and then she didn't want to have sex. And I was like, wait, you. And that's how I learned where I was like, oh, I wouldn't have assumed. But she was like, yeah, I love wearing strap-ons.
Huh.
How do you do that?
You never know.
People are, it's amazing that matches even happen with all the like, I'm into this thing, you're into this thing, I have this personality, you have this personality, I have these long-term goals, you have these long-term goals. Like the fact that anyone can make a relationship work blows my mind.
How, and also that's why I think people that like when they meet someone in high school or their small town, I'm like, yeah, that probably, because the older we get, the more specific in our little things are and what we think we want. So I'm like, well, I really need someone that's like this and this and this and this. Well, guess what? maybe I don't. Also, some people can say they're like something and then they're not, and who fucking knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My whole fear there is that I will compromise too much and be like, yes, this guy works. And then he decides down the road that I'm not what he's looking for.
Oh,
and
God.
I'm sitting here with my dick in my hand. Like, yeah, you weren't right for me either, Gary. But I made it work.
That's something you play out in your head. That's so funny. That's such a like comedian, or that's so funny. I relate to that too, like playing out the exact worst case scenario. I have a vision of me for some reason at a bar in some really random part of Florida when I'm older, drinking again. And I kind of maybe made it a little tiny bit in show business, but not really at all. Like nothing else happened. Like from this point on, nothing else happens.
Oh my God.
I'm at a bar in Florida drinking, talking to some random person, and they're like, "So you're here by yourself?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then for some reason, I'm like, I was trying to make it in show business or something, and it didn't work out. And then I just am like alone at this bar. I picture that.
And then your girlfriend looks so hot. Like
in the fantasy, no. Oh yeah, and then I sacrifice everything for that fucking girlfriend.
Yeah.
In the fantasy, I'm single. In the fantasy, it's like I had all these relationships that didn't work out, and then I'm somehow in Florida. I don't know truly why Florida, but I picture that.
So funny. I mean, honestly, Florida seems like a chill place for people who have given up on their stuff.
Total. And I like it, but this isn't a good part of Florida. This is like some fucking area where it's like.
Is the beach nearby though?
It's where dreams go to die is what the town is, but it's no, I don't picture dream. I just literally, it's just like a shack where this bar is, and then it's just me there with like one other guy, and I'm telling him like, yeah, I was trying to make it really hard. This is another question where I was like, oops, this is one for no one. This is a topic that no one should be talking about. I've done this before, but I've stuck. All the things you hated about your ex.
Yes. Okay. I will say on a first date, especially.
Yeah.
I don't want to even know that you've been in a relationship before this. I want to speak to the secretary. I want to speak to the nicest brand rep of Emma while we're on this hour-and-a-half journey together. Like, let me discover all that stuff down.
Totally. Have you gone on a date where someone did that?
Oh, of course. Oh, yes. People who, this is the thing, like, I believe in sharing too much too fast necessarily. It's the content. So like, I don't want to know all of the dark, bad stuff about you up top. And like, I put exes kind of in that category. Or if they're that close to the surface of your mind, like you're thinking about your ex too much.
Totally. 100%. That usually means you're not over the person. If you're like, I fucking hate my ex or something. Yeah, that's a like, big.
One time on a first date, a guy told me that this was like on a hike on Runyon. That he's,
great
in athletic wear, kind of getting a little sweaty. Like you're doing something, so you're not all the attention's on you. There's dogs around and stuff.
Great date. Yeah. And it's better than a walk because people are like a walk. Even though I love a walk, but
I would go on a walk in a second.
Me too. That to me is a great date.
Another world, Emma.
I know. We could have been walking around.
Could have been something. He disclosed that he thought his ex was cheating, so he set up cameras in his ex's apartment and caught him, and then beat up the guy he was cheating with.
Oh my God!
And this was like mid-hike, so I had to like truly pretend the rest of the hike that I didn't feel like. A, I was kind of in danger, and B, like, you're crazy. Like, you're a crazy person.
He told you that? Mid-hike was he just like, were you like, oh, so something, and then he was like, yeah, I had this ex, but I thought he was cheating.
He made the ex sound like a horrible person. And so at the beginning of the story, I was like, yeah, fuck this ex, Right. And then by the end, I was like, you spent the night in jail, dude.
What the hell is going on?
Jesus Christ.
Sorry. Anyway,
they said, and then, so this is another one. This is one that I think they say not to see. Someone saying that in a first date is also doing you a favor because then
Oh, sure.
It's kind of nice that that's on a first date than a fourth date or something. Because then you're like, because maybe you would have liked other things about him or something, and then all of a sudden
You have to weigh your options.
yeah, and you're like, and then you're doing the math like, I mean, that's a good one. That's a favor of someone. Actually, I would want to know that on the first date if someone had done that.
I truly agree. And I never texted him again. He was,
Right.
Should I ruin it? Like, should I not? I was like, oh no, you're fine. The universe will unfold as it will, you know? Another first date, and this, I love this litmus test. We sat down, ordered drinks, and he was like, you're not going to get a drink? And I was like, oh, I don't drink. And he goes, you're one of those.
Ooh, motherfucker.
And this is at the beginning of a dinner date.
Fuck you.
I know.
Fuck.
And I was like, what do you mean?
One of those what?
Yeah. Well, let me guess. You blah, blah, blah. And he had all these presumptions about me. He wanted a partner who he could do drugs with and have that journey with and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I did all that stuff, I guess, man. And I was just like, I'm so glad we're having this conversation now because I never have to go on a date with you again.
Yeah, that I had someone that I was in a relationship with that, well, we were like dating, and I remember she was like, she was not cool with that I didn't drink. But I think it was only came out like 3 dates in or something. And so then we dated a while after that, and it was awful. Because she'd be like, I'm gonna go get drunk, and then she would be drunk and then like flake on stuff, or there would be something. And then she'd be like, I remember she'd be like, I drank, you gotta get over it. And I was like, I didn't even say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not.
Drunk people, man, I love them to death in small doses. But whenever I see a drunk person now, I'm like, what's up? Like, what are you doing? Like, right.
Yeah, it's like a lifestyle thing.
Yeah.
I would be triggered if I was with someone that wanted to drink to get drunk all the time.
Yeah.
Even though I understand, I mean, obviously.
Yeah, that was me.
Obviously, we understand. I get it.
It's so weird to switch seats, to switch bar stools and be the sober person and not the...
Amen.
Because I used to think that person was crazy.
Amen.
The non-drinker. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if I would have, when I was drinking, if I would have gone on I never did. I never went on a date with someone that was like, I don't drink when I was a drinker.
No. Yeah, no way.
It wouldn't have worked.
It wouldn't have worked.
Right. I would have been like, oh, fine, more drinks for me.
Yeah.
This is when they said, I'll do this as the last one. This is like, I wonder if a gay guy actually had any say in writing this, because it said
it was a girl. A girl who's in love with her gay best friend.
Yeah. Things not to talk about. The fact that you're gay and you don't want to be with me. He said, the future. The person said, if you wanted to have sex and never see me again, we didn't need to waste money or cocktails first. Oh, they mean the future of the relationship.
Oh, I agree with that.
I agree with that. That makes more sense.
There's nothing more unattractive than someone falling too hard, too fast.
Yes, I agree with that.
There's a world in which you're both doing it. Like, you're both on the same page. But like, if a guy's like, man, like, one time on a first date, it was in Echo Park. We went to dinner. It was lovely. We walked on Echo Park Lake, sat down on the ground by the water, made out. Like, so we're sitting perfect. And I had mentioned earlier in the date, he asked me why it didn't work out with my last guy that I went out with. And I was like, oh, we just fizzled. And then we're making out. It's still a good date. And then he whispers in my ear, I just never want us to fizzle. I know.
Damn
the worst callback ever in the history of callbacks. And I was like,
who? This all happened.
Yeah, what the fuck? Are you serious? I don't want us to ever fizzle. Ew, dude, gross. Like, I'm fizzling. You're watching me fizzle.
Yeah,
like, you're watching me fizzle. Yeah.
That is so creepy.
I know.
It's pushing the romance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too, I never want. Is that an okay question to ask, what happened with your last person you were dating?
So when he said that I never want us to fizzle, looking back, that question seemed inappropriate.
Right.
Because it was like, at that point, we were doing research at that point.
Right.
One time a guy on a first date asked me what my favorite vacation spot is. He was like asking me questions. Yeah. And I know based on how thoughtful the first day was, because it was like a picnic at Griffith.
Nice.
And he was doing research to surprise me a year from now, I think, with a trip to my vacation spot. I know. I fucked
That's
that one
not
up
bad.
too.
So that's a nice thing then.
But I was like, I was aware that he was like, that
totally.
like if I had been a different person, he would have still been asking them those questions.
And I bet he wanted you to be aware of it too. It's a little, I bet, you know what I mean? Like, I bet he was like,
these are the things in store.
Right. See, I'm considerate, which is also like, well, you're putting so much thought into being considerate. Maybe you're not naturally considerate. If you have to be like, what's your favorite like, oh, you really like those shoes? Like, oh, and then you're asking the checkout person, like, are these on sale all the time? Like, or not on sale? Are these sold regularly? And then come back and you're like, all right, I see what you're doing.
Yeah, it just it felt conniving, and maybe that's just a great guy that I passed on, but like it almost disingenuous, and I don't know how to put my finger on it.
I think I think that I can read that too, because it's also if it feels like someone's pushing so hard to do that, it would just seem maybe a little bit of an eye roll.
Yeah, and they're overcompensating.
Right.
Like, oh, I have to do these things because.
Right. Yeah, you got to disguise
grease the wheels. Yeah,
grease the wheels. Well, thank you so much for answering my questions. And where can people find you online? And you got to follow them on Instagram. Do you Twitter too?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Zach Noe Towers, ZACHNOE TOWERS. And
wait, spell it one more time.
ZACHNOE TOWERS. But that's Twitter and Instagram. Yeah. Just I'm all over the place. If you enter that into Google, it'll bring up all sorts of little nuggets for you to enjoy.
Snack on. Do you do TikTok?
I watch TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm learning. And I plan to attack at some point.
Yeah, I haven't. It kept crashing my phone, and I just was able to get it on an iPad.
Yeah.
And I just started watching it too. It actually looks pretty fun.
It's a black hole of content. It's when I open it, I've only opened it 3 times, but I sit in the same position looking at it for like 27 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It feels like everyone's so fucking good. So many people are so good at it too. I'm like, how do I even throw my hat in this fucking circus?
You should put some stand-up clips on it with subtitles.
That's true.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's true. That's an easy way, because like the dance moves everyone's doing, they're fucking good.
Yeah. Like, someone told me that you should do like an original video, do one of the like dance or the branded videos that everyone does, and then do your stand-up in there too. Those
dance videos don't look easy though. Like, and you gotta like fucking bring the house down at this point.
Or it's embarrassing.
Right? Which I guess could be okay too. But I'm like, what am I doing this for?
I know. Are you in your 30s?
Yeah, 34.
Yeah. Oh, same.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like we are not like the age that is being embraced on TikTok.
Right.
So it also feels very like precarious. Like, okay, I'm a 30-something entering this world.
Totally.
Please take pity on me. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Kids, now keep it down.
Yeah. What do you guys doing here?
What do you guys do? Yeah.
That's just what it feels like. Well, if you are on TikTok, then look out for Zach on TikTok too. That was my interview, my conversation with Zach Noe Towers. Please find Zach online. Check out his Instagram, support him and all the stuff he does. Such a nice guy. It's really, it's always like refreshing to talk to people who understand like addiction stuff. And even if you're not like an addict type personality, it's just, if you're not good, good for you, for real. You just be like, whoa. Don't go say that to someone who is. Don't be like, hey, I'm not like you, or whatever. Like, full respect to you. At the same time, I don't necessarily appreciate the things that I don't wake up every morning like, I'm so grateful I can walk, which I should do. Especially right now. We got to be looking at the stuff that we do have and the experiences that we do get to look back on and all that shit. Okay. Thank you guys for being here for another episode. Email me, emmasbunker@gmail.com. Any questions, anything you want me to talk about, let me know. Any deep dives you guys want me to do, please. You can watch all of these on YouTube, or most of them, getting the format down. Video by Mike Levin, and then we've got Chris Thomas. And if you have any doing the engineering, and if you've got any podcasting audio engineering needs, Chris at ChrisThomasPhotography.com. Reach out to my man. Thank you guys so much for being here. This has been another episode of Emma's Bunker.
Thank you for listening to Emma's Bunker. For a video of this episode, go to www.emmacomedy.com and click the YouTube link. Subscribe on iTunes.